This is my setup on the 13th. I used a 28 1.8, and I like this lens a lot. But on the 14th, I used a 50mm f2.8. It's adequate, but it's just not powerful enough as an f2 or 1.8 or 1.4. All right, so here's the 13th. This is a real-time 5 minutes. This clip is actually 5 minutes long. That's how long it took me to record it. That's Vega in the lower left-hand corner. I think I was using ISO 1600. This is the start of the Canadian smoke and haze, but it was very light that night, so it wasn't too bad. Well, you know, this is the third time in less than 4 years, so that's sort of scary, I think. You know, what's going on in that nation, that they have massive fires that could blanket the country next to them and make the air quality unhealthy and dangerous across large swaths and regions. But what do I know? So when you use a wide-angle lens like a 28, you could pan and scan no problem. I was looking for meteors, fireballs, bolides. Of course, well, you know, but I see plenty of these. Look, there's a transient phenomena. You notice some of them, they move at different speeds. Of course, some of them are airplanes, definitely. They're of terrestrial origin. Some are near-Earth objects, whatever that could be. And then I see many things. You could tell planes, and I always try to point them out. This is a plane. But then I see weird things. Maybe it's a plane, maybe it's a near-Earth object, maybe it's a starship dropping in and out of warp. I don't know. Starlink has little jet engines on them, and they can move around and change their orbit. I would imagine when they turn them on, even if they're ion engines, they're still going to make some heat. I don't know what sort of propulsion they use. Hydrazine, who knows? But I'm sure it could be just the angle it's making with the sun. If it's spinning around its axis or something, the sun glints off it at exactly that angle. It could look super brilliant. I don't know. I can't say. Look at this bad boy. Started out dim, gets really super bright, and then it gets dim again. And this is in real time. This is exactly how it was recorded. What is that? I mean, really, I see this. It's not uncommon. So I guess I should have my binoculars with me or had an assistant. So I guess, hey, what's that? Look at that. Now these are your normal run-of-the-mill transient phenomena. See, one is dim and it's moving sort of slow, and this brighter one is moving sort of fast. Oh, look, there's a whole bunch of them now, all of a sudden. That one looks like it sped up a little bit. Huh? I don't know. I guess if you had a reticle or something, you could like time them or put down a grid, but then that's getting very scientific. But even just casually, you could see there's different speeds of these objects, different brightness of these objects. They vary in brightness. I don't know what to think. Now, maybe airplanes have powerful lights on them for landing. Who's to say that the pilot flipped the switch accidentally and turned the bright light on, and he goes, oh my God, what am I doing? And he flipped it off later. It's really hard to tell. So remember, this is a 28 1.8. These are those 4 stars that are to the sort of the south and east of Vega. So when we switch to the 15 millimeter, notice the scale. The 50 millimeter has a much wider field of view. but since it's got a lower F number, it doesn't capture as many dim objects. I see all these tiny small ones, right? Look at them all. That's a medium one, but there's a lot of really dim ones that are just at the limit of detectability. All right, so that's 5 minutes. That was 5 minutes in real time. And I want to show you that one transient phenomena that started out sort of dim and then got bright. All right, so this is the next night. 5 minutes, sending at 11:14, the sigma 50 millimeter f2.8. Well, I might have been using the ISO 800 here. And you can see the stars, but the sky is sort of black. But am I missing something because it's not as sensitive? Well, who's to say? I don't know. That's why you can see the adjustments I make a lot. So that's Vega, right? That's that bright star sort of in the middle. And there's those 4 stars. Remember from the others? Look at you. It was hard to fit them all in one frame, but now it's comfortable because the 50 millimeter has a wide field of view. Now the problem is, well, here we go. I just missed it, but see how bright it is? It's really bright. It's the brightest thing in the sky. It came out right off the edge of the field of view. Now it's starting to get dim and dimmer and dimmer. I'm scanning and panning, but that's neither here nor there. And the other one moved about the same speed. Of course, if you're looking at something with a narrow field of view, it may seem to move faster than something that has a wide field of view, because as a percentage of the field of view. So it's getting dim, it's still detectable. 2 separate nights, the same phenomena. Well, subsequently, I didn't see it, so I can't say. Well, it's really getting super dim now, but still detectable. What would do that? Is that some sort of a aircraft that's shining a light? Is it something in near-Earth orbit that's turns its engine on? Is it reflecting light at that critical angle from the sun, and it just appears to brighten up? But it got so bright, it had a halo around it. That was really bright. Now, if it's in this condition, and you just glance up, maybe you don't notice it's moving. So you would have to sort of look at the sky right when it's in its bright phase. You say, wow, that's bright. Now, I know for a fact that I looked at the sky, at bright things that the camera is picking up, but I can't see them, which indicates to me that this object, or those sort of objects, could be putting a lot of infrared, but your eyes aren't sensitive to infrared. I mean, it could be the brightest infrared thing in the sky, but you can't see it with your eye. So that's why it's cool to have some sort of something with a broader spectral response. Sometimes a star that's really bright may appear to be dim in infrared, but usually these things they're sensitive to visible light and infrared. Most of the consumer grade stuff, or even some of the high-end stuff, all capture infrared, but they're not so good at ultraviolet. Your eye's not good at ultraviolet either. You need special equipment. The air blocks ultraviolet, etc., etc. So these are 2 5-minute segments presented to you in real time of the same phenomena. I'm going to go back in my archives, or moving forward, if I capture it again, I'll certainly post an update on it. But, that's the breaks. If something happens outside the field of view, well, you just got to hope that it moves into your field of view. So did I miss part of that phenomena? Yes. I missed the part where it started off dim. But, of course, I'm assuming that started off dim, got bright, and then it got dim again. That seems to be this object's behavior. I really can't guess what it is. Now on the 14th, it was very hazy during the day, and the sky was a pale blue. But then towards the evening, the sky got blue, and it got really dark. And I said, "Wow, this is great." But then it looks like some more light haze moved in from the Canadian wildfires, or the Canadian asymmetric warfare. And this thing is weak to begin with because it is 2.8. So a slight bit of haze or soot in the air would sort of prohibit you from, oh, look at that. Wow, now that's an airplane. And you see the beam coming out of the front? That's from all the haze and smoke that was in the air.